Hello and welcome back to the vlog, but this time from Dubrovnik, Croatia. Look, I'm not even gonna lie, as always, I am experiencing a high level of chaos this morning because apparently that travels with me wherever I go. I don't remember packing that in my checked luggage, but here we are. So I envisioned a really calm, informative intro to this vlog where we would like chit chat as I'm getting ready and sipping on my coffee, and that's not happening because I'm running out the door in 5 minutes. But look, at this point all you need to know is we're in Dubrovnik. Me and my dad, we came for my birthday, and today we're going into the Old Town to go walk on the walls and see where Game of Thrones was filmed. We actually got here yesterday, but I was so exhausted I couldn't even think about vlogging because we got up at 1:30 yesterday to get to our flight, and it was so stressful and dramatic because, again, as always, almost missed the flight. I will circle back to that story and fill you in on the absolute chaos. But yeah, by the time we got here I was like, just have me a glass of wine. Okay, whatever, it's gonna have to do. We don't have time to fix it. So I intentionally am not wearing my Apple Watch at all during this holiday because it's starting to control my life. Like, it says stand, I stand. It says go for an 8-minute walk, I go for an 8-minute walk. But I do kind of wish that I had it on right now to record this workout because I'd love to know how many steps I'm doing. So we just came around the corner and realised that tomorrow for my birthday we're meant to be hiking up the mountain and eating at this one restaurant that has panoramic views, and then we can see the restaurant. The mountain is so high and I like to hike, but it's very hot. Okay, there's the mountain, and right at the tippy top is the restaurant. And I don't think that we're going to be hiking that, actually. I did not bring a tripod with me, so I will be subjecting you to some of the weirdest and wildest angles in this vlog. You're balancing on a bottle of my cleanser right now. But hey, it works. So Dubrovnik Old Town, check. Walked the walls, had a nice wander around, did a little bit of shopping. I bought a Christmas tree decoration, which I will show you. It's not here right now, but I will show you before this vlog is done. Every time I travel somewhere new, I have to buy a Christmas tree decoration because I have OCD. Welcome. No, but I genuinely just love when I'm putting up my Christmas tree. I have a little memory of all the places I've been, and I can just reminisce as I put up the Christmas tree. It's very nice. But I like things that are a little bit quirky. So they had a whole Christmas tree decoration shop, firstly, which I dragged my dad into. He doesn't even like Christmas, but I was like, hey, we're going in. He was like, I don't understand. It's August in Dubrovnik. People are dressed as elves. What is happening? But they had a bunch of like really pretty baubles, the city walls, or, you know, Dubrovnik in glitter, just very pretty. And I was like, no, none of those are gonna do. So I got this little figurine of a man in a traditional Croatian dress, I guess, except he doesn't have a face, but in a way that works impeccably because it made me think of the faceless man in Game of Thrones. So I was like, yeah, 2 for 1, Croatian dress, Game of Thrones, let's go. So we've come back to the apartment, and since we have another early morning tomorrow for my birthday, we thought we would just chill and watch some Netflix, which honestly, that sounds awesome to me. We're not gonna hike up the mountain tomorrow after seeing how intense that looks, and also our reservation at the restaurant is at 10:30, and wondering how easy is it going to be to get an Uber tomorrow morning at the time we want to leave. It's better, I think, to just get the cable car up. I like to hike, but do I need to do it in 30 degrees? on my birthday. I don't think I need to do that. And then we booked a boat trip for tomorrow evening, because the one thing about me is that I love to be on a boat. For now, just gonna chill out, watch some Netflix and eat some Pringles. Because yes, I did bring my own Pringles with me. That was a top priority when I was packing, as it should be. It's my birthday! I'm officially 33 years old. So it rained overnight and now it's really overcast. I have no idea how hot or cold it is out there. It's not gonna be cold, let's be honest. But we're thinking actually overcast seems like the perfect weather to hike. So we're ready early, so we're gonna head over and make a decision as we get there. Maybe cable car, maybe a hike. We're just gonna go as we feel. Look at that view, you can see the sea from here. Dubrovnik is so beautiful. So I must say that I'm having the most incredible birthday. That meal at the top at the Panorama Restaurant, so good. I had a sandwich. I thought I knew sandwiches. No, this sandwich was incredible. May or may not have had 3 glasses of Prosecco. We were meant to be going on a little boat trip this evening, kind of like sunset boat with a show, but it's quite breezy, so all of the boat trips have been cancelled. So we're just gonna wander back into the old town and see what we can see to do for the evening. But at least with the breeze it's a little bit cooler, which is nice. I never thought I'd say that because I always wanted to be warmer at home. Okay, now I am absolutely exhausted. That was one of my favourite birthdays that I've had in a really long time. I actually think it was my favourite birthday as an adult. You know, breakfast this morning, going up to the Panorama restaurant was absolutely insane. The views, I mean, I filmed it, you can see it, but not really, because my camera doesn't capture it the way that your eyes do. You truly just have to go there and see it for yourself, because it's like nothing else I've ever seen before in my life. It's incredible. We had the best little table on the corner. Like when we got to the restaurant, we made this reservation months in advance. And the lady said, you actually have the best table in the whole restaurant. I was kind of like, does she just say that to everyone? But as we got to our seats, I realized, no, we actually did. It was just incredible. The views were out of this world. The food was incredible. The Prosecco was so nice. And even this evening, it was a shame that our boat trip was cancelled, because I do love a boat and I'm also looking forward to that. But it was so nice to just wander around the old town at night. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a struggle to vlog just because this trip is so non-stop. Like we're just going from one thing to the next thing, and it's very jam-packed in a good way. I think because the old town is so busy, and it is insanely busy. I mean, there are thousands of people all jammed inside there, especially depending on kind of what time of day you go in there. It just feels very go, 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 go. But not in a bad way. Not in a way that I feel rushed or I feel overwhelmed, but just in a way that you're constantly moving from one thing to the next and not necessarily having time to sit down and vlog until I'm in my pajamas in the evenings, you know? So hopefully tomorrow's boat trip will go ahead. That would be really nice, because we're going over to Lokrum Island. I'm not even going to pretend that I can pronounce things appropriately, because I don't know how to speak Croatian. Anyway, another fun packed day planned for tomorrow, going over to the island on the boat, if that goes ahead, and then kayaking in the evening. I'm just having the best time on this trip. So we made it to the island. We had our little boat trip. We'll say the boat was packed. I'm beginning to see a theme throughout, you know, visiting Dubrovnik, which is there will be thousands of people everywhere you are. But at least here right now, it's very spacious and very cool in the shade, which is nice. That's the best cactus I've ever seen. I just walked into a bush. So we're following signs for Charlotte's well. Who is Charlotte? What's special about the well? We don't know. We just saw a sign for it and we were like, let's figure it out. But it is turning into a little bit of a off the beaten path type of situation, and it seems to keep going and going and going. So I'm really interested to see what's so special about this well. I feel very underprepared for this trip. I have done no research usually when I travel. I like learn about the history, I learn about all of the things that there are to see, and I go in prepared. So I have like context for what I'm doing. I have no context for this. I'm just showing up and going with the flow. Just uncomfortable for me, but hopefully some light will be shed on this as we go. So apparently we walked past it. I do remember seeing something that resembled a well, going back a little way back. So we did in fact walk straight past this. I remember seeing it on the way past and thinking like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize it was the well because it does not actually have water, but it's big. It's big. We're up near the rocks overlooking the sea, and I was like, this is the perfect photo opportunity. So I got down on this one like little rock that was out above the sea, and I was like scooching closer to the edge, and my dad was just shouting, get away from the edge. I was like, it's for Instagram, so we risk life and limb here. And to be fair, if anyone's gonna fall off a cliff because they have no balance, it's gonna be me, but I didn't, so I call that a win. Between the many millions of steps I feel like I have taken over the last few days and the heat, I could honestly nap for like 6 straight hours at this point, but instead we're gonna go kayaking. Today is leaving day. This whole holiday has been so much of a blur. I think because it's been so jam-packed with activities, and there's so much to do and there's so much to see, and we were here for 5 days, but one of those days was the day that we flew in when we were exhausted. And I just realized I never told you the story about the car parking situation at the airport. I will circle back to that, I promise. And then today is technically a day because we don't fly until 5:30, but the day that you have to leave doesn't really feel like a true day because you're just thinking about going home and you can't commit to do anything really because you have to get back to the airport. I don't know what this was. I felt like a rapper in the 90s. And I don't want to be one of those annoying people who's like, oh my gosh, I need a holiday to recover from my holiday. But y'all, I do. At the very least, I need to like sit down for a hot minute. Before we came, I made the decision I was going to take off my Apple Watch because I have a tendency to get really obsessive, and I didn't want the Apple Watch kind of like dictating my life to me while I'm on holiday, you know? It can do that when I'm at home. It can tell me when to stand and when to walk and how far. But actually, this would have been the most perfect time to wear the Apple Watch and find out like how many miles have I actually walked. I would have been racking up awards on that thing left, right and center because we have just walked and walked and walked. I woke up this morning and I put my feet down on the ground and I was like, oh, those hurt. But it's been incredible. Truly, Dubrovnik is probably the prettiest place I've ever been. I would say the only contender would be Sapa in the north of Vietnam, but that's a very different kind of environment and situation. But yes, it's just been incredible. So much fun, so much to see, such lovely people. And I don't want to go home. Yeah, we're back in the UK now. Got my woolly jumper on and everything. What an amazing trip. I tried to capture as much of the extraordinary beauty of Dubrovnik as I could, but really, as I was going through and editing, I realized the camera just cannot capture it the way your eyes do. So if you ever get a chance to go to Dubrovnik, 10 out of 10 recommend. Is it busy? Yes. Is it expensive? Also yes. Is it worth it? 100%. But then I also realized while I was editing the vlog that I never told you the car parking story. So we're gonna wrap things up with that because buckle up friends, it was dramatic. So we left the house in plenty of time because one thing about me is that I don't want to be late to the airport. I cannot deal with the stress. I don't like flying by the seat of my pants. I know that that's difficult to appreciate because it seems like I always am, but I'm constantly, I swear, I'm always doing my best. I'm trying. We'd booked for a shuttle bus parking service off site of the airport because to park at the airport was going to be £120, and we found a place 400 meters from the airport that said we could park there and they would shuttle us to the airport for just, I think it was £55. Sounds too good to be true. It was in fact too good to be true. Now I have used quite a few of those park and shuttle services around the airport, and immediately on getting to this one it seemed a little bit off. The sheer volume of cars that they had in this small space, I was like, good grief, this is a lot. And they had us parked so closely together that I actually couldn't get out of the car. We had to get the woman next to us to reverse out just so I could get out of the car. Whatever, I guess that makes sense. They don't want to take up unnecessary room. We get out of the car and there's a queue in front of us. I counted, it must have been about 30-35 people, and immediately I'm like, this isn't great for us because they only have a 12-seater minibus. So at that rate, we're going to be missing the first 2 minibuses and getting on the third, which isn't terrible. But when you're dealing with planes, you don't want to lose any time. And then the parking attendant who had directed us to the car parking space, who we had spoken to, suddenly says, oh, has everyone dropped off their keys? Because if not, then you'll come back to a wheel clamp. And I said, oh, we're in the queue to do that though, right? No, it was a completely different queue. So we'd been standing in one queue for 20 minutes. That was the bus queue, and it turns out the key dropping queue was a completely different queue. It took over an hour just to drop off the keys. Just to drop off the keys. By the time my dad finished dropping off the keys, thank goodness I stayed in the bus queue, because by the time he was done, I counted there were now 70 people plus in the queue, and the buses were leaving half empty because the whole like bottleneck situation of it was dropping off the keys. So people couldn't get on the bus because they hadn't dropped off their keys, and they were like, if you haven't dropped off your keys, we're gonna clamp your car. Absolutely horrific. Absolutely the worst. By the time we got to the airport, got through security, our flight was on final call. We had to sprint. We just made it. Just made it. So absolutely 10 out of 10 worst airport experience of my life, and trust me, I've had quite a few rocky airport experiences in my time. I will name and shame, they were called airport tavern parking outside of Bristol Airport, and I will name and shame because I wouldn't want anyone else to have that experience. Anyway, the rest of the trip went really well and I loved it, and let's end things on a positive note. Dubrovnik, incredible. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Remember that you are enough just as you are, and I will see you soon, guys. Bye.